Hi, YouTube. Word. How big is the world? Night. In the back of the mind. Sight. That makes us believe, right? Wrong. From the back of the throng. Life. That's how we see, right? Love. When I just want to give you a hug. Bright. When we see with one mind. Hey, YouTube. So I live in Texas, and in Texas, like, they're trying to get rid of education. They're essentially, from how I perceive it, they're trying to make it where only wealthy people can be educated. Like, they're trying to get rid of, really, the Board of Education. And, like, that's how people learn. Like, at least in America, like, we learn from schools. Like, we learn how to be civilized human beings from schools. It teaches us how to share. It teaches us how to communicate. Like, we learn a lot of valuable things from public school. And the fact that they're trying to take that away is honestly very astounding, because, like, why? Like, what purpose does that serve? How do you think that that is a good idea? And a lot of people, they say, well, I didn't learn anything in school. Well, I mean, it's like, what, did you pay attention? Like, in reality, that's what everything comes down to, is what are you paying attention to? Who are you letting speak truth into your life? Because, like, not everything that you hear from everyone is true. And honestly, a lot of people, they have prejudice in them. They have biases. They have hate in their heart. And if you're hating on the world, then you're causing destruction. You're doing things that are terrible, that create horror in people. And in reality, like, horror is a confusing emotion because it creates fear. And fear, it's an emotion to be overcome, because in reality, like, whenever you're fearful, that just keeps you stuck in a state of uncertainty. And in reality, we all have knowledge. We all know what's right. We all know what's true for life. And, like, if you don't know what's true for life, then take a deep breath, because that'll teach you what's true. Just sitting and breathing and being with another person, that allows you to understand. And when you open up yourself to the world, you start to understand how a lot of the world is suffering, and people need love in their life, and people need hope. And whenever you hold on to your hope, your faith, your light, your life, it helps other people see the truth. Because it's all about your spirit and the focus of that. Because life is creating you anew. It's always creating something new. But it's sad that we have people in power that are hateful towards his own citizens. Because in reality, condemnation and looking down on the world, it's never gotten me anything. Like, it doesn't bring good feelings. It doesn't make life happy. Like, focusing on the love, Christ, sacrifice, that's what makes life good. That's what makes life happy. Whenever you sacrifice what you want, your own essence, the things that you really desire, that's how you reach freedom. Because, like, that's the point of life, is to overcome everything that has a hold on you, overcome all your desires. And really, it's sad that people don't obviously I'm not very versed in politics. I don't really know this stuff. But I pick up what I hear. And so I suppose I shouldn't do that. But it's a phenomenon. And if I'm hearing about it, then it might be happening. And I might need to pay attention and open my eyes. But it's like, a lot of people, they're prejudiced towards others. Like, let me spin you a story. So, a lot of my life, I've grown up around sinners. I've grown up around a lot of the people that do a lot of bad stuff. And it's like, coming from that aspect, I know what life is like. I understand that people do things that are out of their character when they feel pressured, when they feel like they have no other choice. And that creates a lot of struggle in people. Because you always have a choice. You can always choose. And so for someone to take other people's choice away, it creates horror. Love is confusing when it's mixed with pain. Because you become addicted to the pain. Like being in a relationship that brings you comfort. Whenever you take your anger out on the world and you're in a relationship and your relationship brings you comfort, and then you take your anger out on the world, then your relationship no longer brings you comfort because you're taking your anger out, you're pushing your frustrations into the world. And the idea is to channel it, to use the breath and stir up the energy in the body and change it. Because everything is always changing, and whenever we get into the flow of it, then that's really when we get into life. Because like, if it is always changing, then nothing stays the same, and everything that we see, it's being made into something different. And so like reality, it's really the influence of getting to understand yourself and what love actually is. Because in reality, like, a lot of people are going to try to tell you what life is and what they think about it. And like, if they don't have love in their heart and they have the feeling of greed or the feeling of wanting to take advantage of other people, and that's what they're going to do. And they're going to take advantage of other people based off of their feelings, based off of what they do. But what is the truth? You know, I'd have to say the best thing that I have done in my life is take up writing. And in writing to myself, I've learned a lot about life, a lot about my mind, like keeping notes and just keeping my thoughts on paper. It's really allowed me to explore myself and understand life from a lot of perspectives, and really just my everyday experience. I've learned a lot about life. I'd have to say, fundamentally, one of the deepest things that I've learned from life is that humans are selfish, and whenever we are selfish, it creates a lot of pain, because if you're only looking out for yourself, then all of your interests are very egotistical. They're very focused on me. And in reality, it's not about... Oh, they're not. In reality, it's not about me. I mean, it is about you, but it's not about your persona. Like, it's about the influence of the breath, feeling your body as you are, understanding other people as they are. Because you shouldn't tell people who to be. You don't even know yourself. I don't know, so to think that you're so justified in your belief, I say that's arbitrary. Because beliefs are a dime a dozen. They change. They're like opinions. And in reality, whenever you make your experience more inclusive, a lot of your opinions about people, they change. Because you see how you were looking at it wrong. Because in my experience, people are somewhat unfamiliar at first, and so you like see them and you make assumptions about them. You think that you know what they're like, where they've been, who they are, and it's like, in reality, if you're making assumptions about people, you're so far from the truth that you don't even know what's real. Because you actually have to put away your prejudice, your feeling of being prejudgmental, and you have to discover people and understand them for themselves. Ask them about themselves. Ask them who they are, how they are, what their life is like, what it's like to be them, what life's like from their experience, from their perspective, and how do they perceive and why do they perceive the way that they do. Because a perspective, it's made from past knowledge. Like, it's made up from your values, I suppose. What is a perspective? How is that born? Well, to perceive. So it's like, you take, a perception is something that you take inside of your persona and you make a part of you. And so, like, we perceive the world. We see it and we take it into our being and we make it up and believe in it. So a perception, it's using past information, past knowledge to construct an image and imagination of the world. In my experience, I've seen the rugged side of life, and in that, it's like I understand that a lot of people don't know, and if you're gonna take away the means for them to know, then you're making a lot of people really unaware. And if you're filtering all your resources to a different geographical location, then you're segregating life. And I've learned that in life it's about, honestly, it's about greed. The more greedy you are, the selfish you are, the more things that you want things for yourself, the more it deteriorates your spirit. Because you're so focused on getting things for me and mine that you're not focused on other people. And you gotta take a breath and focus on other people. Because they're really what create you. They make you who you are, the other people in the world, because they help you see the light in yourself. And so to shun the world and think that they're evil, think that they're bad, that's illusionary, that's false. Because like, the world is what you conceive, it's what you perceive, it's what you make out of it. And a lot of people want to make the world into something that it's not. They want to segregate it and make people hate on each other and just, I don't know, invite a lot of ignorance in the world, into the world. Because like, this man, he's intelligent. He has money. He has knowledge. He has businesses. And like, that means that he's put a lot of time and effort into the development of those things. And so he's honestly using his intelligence against a lot of people, because he understands the dynamics of politics, of relationships, of psyche, of manipulation. And in reality, it's like, manipulation is a tricky subject. It's a tricky thing. Because if you can project all your ideals, like, say, what is a projection? What is the psyche? So say I stole your phone, and you saw me steal your phone, and you're like, hey, I saw you steal that phone. And you said, no, I didn't. You were crazy. That's a bad example. I have to think on this more. What is manipulation? What is projection? So the psyche, everything that you see within yourself, your mind takes that and projects that onto the world. You see everything that you don't like in yourself out in the world, and you believe it to be in the world. And so like say that we see our life when we look down from the top of the mind, we find ourselves somewhere in love. When we found out that we are from above, and I told you it just because I wanted you to know where you're from, because a lot of people will try to tell you some that you're not. Just learn to rise above and focus on everything that you love. I honestly have grown up from a broken home. And in that, I've experienced a lot of pain. A lot of stuff that people try to hide shelter their kids from. I've seen and experienced a lot of things that people would deem unwholesome, and in that experience of life, it's taught me a lot about my mind. I learned that it starts with love, and everything that you know of just because. I've seen my parents struggle with a crack addiction, and the way my dad explained it to me was that America was segregated, and so there's always been this divide between the wealthy and the poor, and in that there's this influence of greed, because whenever we're greedy, It makes us want to take. It makes us want to take from others, not give to them. And a lot of people are greedy. They really are. They only want to take things. They don't want to give. And that's the tragic thing about school, is that it taught me how to share. It taught me to give. Because growing up and going to school, I was given a life I never knew possible. I made friends. I got to understand science, literature, math, reading. Like, there's a lot of things that I feel people don't give school credit for. And it's like, just because you don't use it in your every day-to-day experience doesn't mean that you didn't learn foundational skills from it. And so I think it's kind of fucked off that someone is trying to get rid of that. Because I've learned a whole lot from the teachers that taught me things in school. They taught me how to be a better human being. They taught me how to care for other people besides myself. They taught me the truth about life, how God is actually love, how there isn't a bunch of segregation in the world, how there is a melting pot, and how things can come together. And people think that just because they read a book, the Bible, it makes them righteous, it makes them right. And like, yes, it can, but it doesn't make you a good human being just because you read the Bible. Because a lot of people interpret it wrong. They don't understand that it's an allegory. It's a metaphor. It doesn't actually mean anything to the soul. I mean, it does, because it's a mystical symbol. And so it means a whole lot to the soul. So don't let me lie to you. But it's created, I like to say by man, but it was created before time, before creation. And so that's why Christians are so fundamental about learning it, because it's about the human being being exiled from the Garden of Eden and the trials and tribulations that Jesus, really, that the Israelites go through. It's their exodus. But in the book of John, it talks about how in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And so if we are the Word and God in the beginning, then we use our words truthfully to help people understand and love themselves and see the truth. Because words have power. They're a powerful source of energy. In reality, it's the only thing that allows us to connect with God, is the power of our voice. And so if you're being a deceiving individual, then you're creating a lot of pain, because it's the truth in the words, in the things that we say, that creates an experience for people. And if you're using divisive speech or language and you're creating a divide, then are you being like God? Are you being like Jesus? Are you being like Christ? Are you making a sacrifice? And it's all about finding the truth from the bottom of your heart and learning how to love other people. Because spending time in my mind and imagining myself as a mineral, imagining myself as water, imagining myself as fire, imagining myself as plants, rocks, animals, Jesus, Buddha, it creates an influence, a feeling of love, a feeling of belonging. And that's the idea, is to use your consciousness and become these energies. Focus on that love and brighten the world with your voice.